Welcome. So, today we're diving into a pretty profound paradigm shift when it comes to wealth, responsibility, and what it actually means to be successful. We usually think that getting rich or climbing to the very top of the corporate ladder is the ultimate finish line, right? But the source material we're unpacking in this explainer offers a totally different perspective. It introduces this ancient, highly structured philosophical framework that completely redefines true success, and it breaks down the hidden laws governing our natural destiny. So let's explore how these deep cosmic principles intersect with our everyday ambitions. Let's start by looking at a super common, yet honestly pretty unsettling phenomenon. Why do people who seem to have absolutely everything suddenly lose it all? We've all seen the headlines, right? A high-flying CEO hailed as a total genius one day, suddenly ousted and disgraced the next. Or an heir to a massive fortune whose life just completely unravels in the public eye. They reach the absolute pinnacle of society, and then, almost overnight, they plummet to the bottom. So why does this happen? Is it just bad luck? A shift in the market? Well, the core premise of the material we're analyzing today argues that this isn't random at all. Behind every massive downfall, there is an invisible, unbreakable law of nature at work. So here is our roadmap for decoding these laws. First, the law of cosmic duty. Second, the high society trap. Third, karma and ancestral ties. Fourth, what is true education? And finally, the weight of leadership. All right, Section 1, the law of cosmic duty. Let's unpack the foundational theses of this entire philosophy.
The absolutely crucial point to get here is that the universe, or nature, doesn't just hand us a high position or abundant resources so we can kick back and feed our egos. According to this philosophy, these positions are literally assigned as tools for karmic growth. Now, karma in this context isn't just about cosmic retribution. It's really about unresolved spiritual debts and the necessary tasks your soul has to complete. When you're given a specific environment or a platform, you're actually being given a cosmic assignment. Fulfilling your duty to the people around you is the actual mechanism by which you clear that life's karma. So the higher your position, the heavier and more significant your social duty becomes. It is an obligation of service, not a reward of comfort.
And this perspective completely flips how we usually view class or status. In modern society, we're totally conditioned to think that high status is just a measure of financial wealth or the ability to boss people around. The source material strongly rejects that. True status is simply a tier of societal responsibility. It dictates the specific type of work someone must do to help others. Having a massive bank account doesn't automatically make you a leader, and it doesn't place you in a higher spiritual class. True status is earned, and it's measured strictly by the scale of your service and dedication to others. Moving right along to Section 2, the high society trap. Let's see how this massive principle plays out in the real world. The text outlines a really specific process called natural demotion. Picture this: someone desperately desires a high position, maybe marrying into a super wealthy and influential family. They achieve that goal and step into this grand environment. But if they lack the required character, wisdom, and philosophical depth to actually match that immense background, a really tragic shift happens. They fail to become a true spiritual pillar for the family. And because they can't lead with wisdom, they unknowingly reduce themselves to a mere manager or housekeeper, just obsessing over checking chores or monitoring the staff. The emotional toll of this is profoundly isolating. You're surrounded by immense wealth, yet you're totally hollow inside, unable to truly connect with or guide anyone. And eventually, by failing to fulfill the true duty of that high seat, the laws of nature intervene, leading to an inevitable expulsion from that environment. Basically, nature hates a vacuum of character and capability. This is a fundamental law. If you desire a high environment, you absolutely must cultivate the inner strength to handle it. You might try to fake it or act super subservient to buy yourself a little more time in a position you haven't earned. But nature is incredibly cold and precise in its accounting. As the source says, if you lack the skills for your environment, you will accurately and inevitably be kicked out. Okay, Section 3, karma and ancestral ties. This part shows how our personal success is invisibly tethered to our ancestors. The source material explicitly shatters a huge myth about how we honor our lineage. Think spending thousands of dollars on lavish rituals, expensive offerings, and gold is the true way to liberate our ancestors? Absolutely not. True liberation operates on a completely different frequency. The only genuine way to help your ancestors is for you, the living descendant, to live an honorable, respected life right now. It's through your daily, righteous actions and the fulfillment of your societal duties that your ancestors can truly rejoice and find peace. This breaks down the deep, sophisticated mechanics of how karma actually operates across generations. Spiritually, descendants and ancestors are part of a single interconnected system. If you're being crushed by the weight of your life, just living in constant frustration and suffering, your ancestors mirror those exact emotions and remain trapped in that pain alongside you. But conversely, if you step up, fulfill your societal duties, and earn the genuine respect and love of the public, your ancestors share in that profound joy and are finally liberated from their own karmic bonds. The realization that your everyday actions and your societal contributions carry that kind of massive spiritual weight is pretty wild, right? Which leads us to Section 4. What is true education? To avoid these terrifying traps, the source points to one specific solution. Let's be super clear here. This has absolutely nothing to do with getting a degree from a prestigious university or memorizing a textbook. True education is defined as deep, interpersonal character development. A major part of this is understanding your energy level. This means having the self-awareness to know your current limitations, recognizing how much influence you actually wield, and understanding the energetic weight of your words and actions. It's about developing the empathy to properly view those who are in lower positions or facing greater hardships, and learning the specific wisdom required to become genuinely necessary and helpful to them. That internal growth is what makes up real education. Think about standard education for a second. Learning math, reading, basic survival skills. Does that make us great leaders? No. It really just puts everyone on the exact same starting line. Standard education equips us to survive, making us largely similar regardless of our backgrounds. What truly separates a genuine leader from someone who's just keeping a high seat warm is true education. It's the active, lifelong pursuit of learning how to properly serve, guide, and elevate the people under your care. There's a really stark, unforgiving warning here. Relying solely on basic knowledge when you're placed in a position of high responsibility is just a guaranteed recipe for disaster. The text states that sitting in a high environment with only standard education will ultimately destroy you. Think of it like putting a novice who has only ever read a basic flight manual into the cockpit of a massive commercial airliner. The complexity, the pressure, the sheer weight of the lives depending on them, it'll be completely overwhelming. Without the specialized character development required for that environment, the pressure will absolutely crush you. Finally, Section 5, the weight of leadership. Let's apply this directly to the business world. This trajectory perfectly illustrates exactly why so many seemingly successful CEOs eventually collapse. On day one, someone might aggressively take the CEO seat, driven purely by the allure of money, status, and a fancy title. But the reality of leadership is insanely complex. By month 6, their underlying limitations begin to show. They find themselves completely unable to process the intricate human conflicts, the moral dilemmas, and the complex duties the role actually demands. By year 1, they naturally fall from power. They'll almost always blame the market or their competitors, but the hard truth? They were expelled by nature due to a fundamental lack of inner character and spiritual qualification for that seat. And clinging to a position of power when you know deep down you haven't earned it? The source says that requires a constant state of cowardice and servility. Just imagine the sheer internal anxiety of a leader in this position, constantly looking over their shoulder, overly worried about what their subordinates are whispering, suffering from deep imposter syndrome because they know they lack true substance. Attempting to fake your way through leadership might buy you a few extra weeks or months, but the law of nature cannot be cheated. That servility only delays your inevitable and usually very public expulsion. So for anyone looking to genuinely elevate their position in life and truly own their success without that constant fear of falling, here are your ultimate takeaways. High status absolutely requires high capability. Do not desire the shiny title or the corner office. Instead, firmly resolve to cultivate the profound skills, the empathy, and the wisdom required to actually handle that position. If you want to secure your place at the top and shine safely, you have to direct all of your energy towards serving and elevating the people below you. Becoming invaluable to them is literally the only way to truly validate your position.
I want to leave you with a deeply provocative question to chew on as you navigate your own career and life. Are you truly serving and elevating those around you, or are you just occupying a seat for the sake of your ego? The laws of nature are constantly at work, meticulously measuring our contributions. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this perspective brings some profound clarity to your journey ahead.